Blog Talk Radio.
And they say you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull a mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. I don't do that. But out of South Alabama come a country boy, said looking for a man named Jim. I am a fool.
Those were all my New Year's resolutions, by the way. Just in case you're fun. Hi, welcome to Psychic Tapestry's Spiritual Tune-Up Show. I'm Ken Kessler, and she is Michele Amburgey. Hi, Michele.
Hi there. How you doing, Ken?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fantabulous. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. That was Jim Croce that got us started off. By the way, today's his birthday, so happy birthday, Jim.
Yes.
And I thought, and I thought that was. It's hard to pick a favorite because I love so many of Jim's songs, but I just thought that is some good advice. If you have not made any New Year's resolution yet, and we're 10 days in, not tugging on Superman's cape or spitting into the wind or pulling on the mask of the Lone Ranger, those are all good ideas. So don't do that. But anyway, I thought that was a good way to get rolling. We are live here. It is January 10th. Phone lines are open, 347-838-9903. You can, if you're listening on your computer, you can, to Blog Talk Radio, you can scroll down on the Blog Talk Radio page there, and you'll see the chat room, and you can pop in and join me in there. I was going to say hi to everybody in the chat room, but I'm it right now, so hi to me. You can also connect with us through social media, facebook.com/Psychic Tapestry, at Psychic Tapestry on Twitter, and you can go to psychictapestry.com and click on, in the lower right, you'll see a little blue box that says, send us a message, and you can connect that way as well. While you're at psychictapestry.com, by the way, if you don't want to call in, or if you're listening to this as a podcast later on after the live show has ended, you can click on Get a Reading at psychictapestry.com, and you will see Michele is there, and I am there, and all the folks who do shows here, Psychic Tapestry shows are there. So you can connect with whoever you would like to, find out more about them, and maybe book a private reading at a time that's convenient for you and for them, and it is private, so it's not on the radio, so everybody else doesn't have to hear it, or doesn't even get to hear it. It's not that they don't have to hear it; they don't get to hear it. It's just between you and whoever you're getting a reading with. I know some people would say that they hear the show and they would like to call in, but they don't want to. They don't want to be on the radio. They don't like the way their voice sounds. They don't want everybody else to hear whatever's going on with them, or there's something really personal, and they don't want maybe another person to hear. So anyway, so that's an option for you. I could keep going on and on and on about that, but I think you get it. I think you got it probably a couple minutes ago. But anyway, there it is. So here we are. It's been a couple of Wednesdays since we've been here, and Michele and I were talking just before we got started, and we thought we might kind of reintroduce ourselves and what we're doing here, and the whole music thing that puts the tune in spiritual tune-up, and I thought that might be a good idea. So Michele, you want to start? Not that I'm not throwing you under the bus or anything, but.
Sure. Well, one of the things, I just want to say hi and Happy New Year to all of our listeners, whether they're on live or listening later. We are so grateful for you guys. And, Ken and I have been doing this show together for, gosh, has it been a year? Has it been that long? It feels like it's been about a year.
And it's been a good long while. I know you came on the Saturday show 2 or 3 times, maybe more, before we got this thing rolling. But if it hasn't been a year yet, it's probably close.
Been pretty close, yeah. And what drew Ken and I together was that we have an interest in music and musicians, and Ken is like a flippin' encyclopedia of knowledge about musicians and their songs, and I'm like, he just amazed me, and I was so fascinated by it. And my connection to the music industry is I was raised in that. My father was in the music industry, and I have a great fascination and love for those in the entertainment industries, but I see them very much as like people like you and me. They get up, they brush their teeth, they put their pants on, they go to work. And I don't have a lot of the details of their careers, but I have a very strong, heartfelt respect for them. And of course, there's so many, that we know their music, we know, the work that they've done. And Ken and I kind of came together because of our interest in all of this, and because I have, and I think you have too, personally met a lot of these great, great, amazing people. And Ken and I both kind of tiptoed towards each other in this thing. It's like, and sometimes I hear from them. And sometimes, like I've had John Lennon come through. I've had, all kinds of, I can't think of off the top of my head. But a lot of them come through and kind of talk to me. And I never wanted to say anything to anybody because people are going to think I'm nuts. You can say angels, you can say masters, people are like, yeah. But when you get down in concrete and these beings, a lot of people are like, yeah, well, now you're going over the line. But Ken and I both kind of opened up to each other about it, and we're like, oh, yeah. And we actually found kind of almost like a mutual support for each other, like, yeah, this really happened. And so then we started talking about doing a show together, and we both love angels as well. We're both very connected to the angelic realms and are very, very aware of how the angels and these beautiful beings who were here on earth at one time, who shared their music, their gifts, their love, whether they were singers or maybe actors and actresses, musicians, they too were channeling something magnificent as they were presenting themselves here on the planet, and they continue that on the other side. And so we wanted to do the show so we could bring through angelic information, but also from what we call the boys upstairs, and we're not excluding any of the girls because Marilyn Monroe, beloved Norma Jean, is someone that has come to me often, and I met her behind a restaurant up off of Melrose up in Hollywood, and she walked through a wall, and I was like, oh, okay. But she comes through as almost like a gatekeeper for me sometimes when I'm doing my mediumship work. So they're there, and they exist, and they still want to communicate, and they still want to bring their love for humanity and their gifts and their own kind of, I'm almost see it as almost like their own channeling, like they're what they channeled and then channel through us to bring to you, the listeners. Now, Ken and I have been really careful about this because we don't want people coming on and saying, well, I want to talk to Elvis Presley, because that's not how it works. How it works is you guys open yourselves up and ask your questions or whatever, and whoever comes through will answer them. But Ken and I really want to allow our beloved, we don't even know what to call them, our artists on the other side, to kind of start coming through a little bit more. And then Ken has his wonderful jukebox, and he's got his special cards that he has that are connected with all of this. And so part of our starting this year is to kind of open that up a little bit more for all of our people. And so it's really fun. And after we talked about this, I had a lot of energy flowing through me from Jim Croce. His name kept popping up, his music kept popping up, and then all of a sudden on Facebook I saw Ken had his picture up there, and I realized today is his birthday, and I just Wikipedia'd him and realized that he actually passed away on my birthday, which I did not realize. So Jim has been up, which means he's communicating. This is what he's doing. His energy is coming into the field, and this is kind of how it works. And it's crazy, but these are amazing, beautiful beings to work with. And it's almost like, I know I feel a little bit shy, like, oh, my gosh, the great Jim Croce would come to me. Well, why would he do that? And yet, I feel like crying. And yet it's happening, and Ken and I keep talking about it. It's like we have to let them come through when they want to. And so that's I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. And I just love that Jim Croce is kind of our mascot for the day. I don't know if he's going to like being called a mascot. Are you all right with that? But very, very excited. And I'm excited to be here and excited to kind of bring this more fully, our dreams and our ideas, Ken, more fully into what we're doing. And then you have such a great story, so I'll stop talking and you tell your connection, because it's just so cool.
Well, mine is I started, listeners to Psychic Tapestry probably already know this, but I started all this as a skeptic. I wanted to believe, but I didn't want to be tricked. And whenever you see anything about psychics and mediums in the news, it's because they were bad. They did something wrong. They stole, they lied, they cheated. And so that's a lot of what the public perception is. And I wanted to believe so bad, but I didn't. And when as a couple things happened to me, and I started to realize that the world was a much bigger place than I had thought. And some of these singers and musicians started to come through to me. It absolutely freaked me out. And it because there's nobody talks about this kind of thing. And when you accept that there are people who can talk to spirit, who can talk to dead people, when you accept that part, even accepting that, going one further, and that they can talk, that Jim Croce, Elvis, John Lennon, that it seems fantastic, and it seems kooky, and even amongst people who are in this field, who do something in the under the metaphysical umbrella, it seems a little bit strange to them, and I don't know why, because these aren't some kind of mutants from some other world. There were human beings like we are, like your ancestors and relatives are or were, and it just makes sense that if, as a medium, I could talk to your grandfather and relay a message, that I would be able to talk to Elvis and relay a message as well. And sure, I can kind of have a handle on it now, but as this was happening, and I couldn't figure it out. And then once I started to accept that it was for real, then the problem became, well, great, but what do I do with this? Other than brag, other than name drop. Hey, I was talking to Freddie Mercury today. What? Okay, how does that help anyone else besides me? I mean, I get how cool it is, how amazing it is to talk to some of these people who have been, who have had such a profound impact on my life, whose work I loved so much. That love is just not a big enough word. But what can I what could I do with that? What, it seemed very selfish that I could meditate and I could talk to Frank Sinatra and I could talk to, pick who you want. And it was really neat. It was very cool. But it just seemed like, how can I use that? How can I take this to another level and help someone with it? I mean, I don't know how it helps anyone say, I was talking to Frank Sinatra and I told him I was thinking about buying some lottery tickets, and he told me that was a pipe dream, kid. And how does that help you? Unless you're thinking about going out and buying some lottery tickets tonight, and my saying that that's what Frank told me has any kind of impact on you, okay. But otherwise you might just think that I'm nuts thinking that Frank Sinatra cares whether I buy lottery tickets or not. Okay. Well, how much crazier is it to say that my grandfather would come through and say, you're wasting your money? I don't know if my grandfather would use the word pipe dream, but maybe he would. I don't know. But I'll ask him next time I talk to him, and I'll report back to you. But I didn't know what I could do with it. How I could help anyone. How relaying a message from someone like this, and without it turning even kookier, without it being that people would call up and say, I want you to connect with Elvis.
Right.
What he told me is that the king is very busy. And I think that's true with most of them, because we really, even for those of us who are able to communicate with spirit and with angels, we still only have such a narrow idea of what happens on the other side. No matter how many people, how many dead people, how many angels you talk to, until you're there, you just don't know what it's like. And I've had more than one tell me, Buddy Holly said that there's so much to learn, that the learning never ends, and that there is just so much. And that's really all that I know right now, is that I don't know anything, because there's so much. But okay, that's great. I've dropped a lot of names. That sounds really cool. But what do I? And I Michelle, I think I even asked you this. What do I do with this? How do I use? How do I use this? And is saying how do I use it, is that disrespectful that I'm trying to use this? But what do I do with it so that this amazing thing that has happened to me or through me or whatever, how can that help anyone else? And Michelle had this wonderful idea that we call it a spiritual tune-up show, and it's got tune right there in the name, right smack dab in the middle, that it should be part of this, and that relaying messages from singers and musicians should be a part of it. And it's not a request show. So if you're calling in to talk to Elvis, he loves you and he's flattered, but he's a very busy king. You know what's really funny? I have this playlist going right now with about 6,500 songs in it that I picked for tonight. And as I'm talking, Heartbreak Hotel just started, as I was just talking about Elvis. I mean, there are probably... yeah, there are certainly a lot of Elvis songs in this, but there's not, it's a small percentage. So make of that what you will. But it's not a call-in request show. So if you want Elvis to help you with your love life, I can't guarantee that he's going to come through and have some ideas for you, although he did just come through with Heartbreak Hotel, so I'm sorry about that if that's what you were hoping for. That's a rough one. But I have gotten some wonderful messages for myself, and I am hopeful that that I could do the same for you, and as is Michele. So if you're open to that, and somebody's already on the phone, so I think they are, unless they weren't really listening and they're just calling to find out something else. But I'm a little unsure of exactly how this will work, because this is the first time that we've really been doing this. I do have my little psychic jukebox going, and this is a cloud player with tonight it has over 6,500 songs in it that is randomly playing, and I asked my guides and angels to let whoever wanted to come forward to help our listeners tonight, let their music come up when your call comes in. So, and that will at least help me get the message to you. And I think that's really what it's all about. Beyond that, I don't know. We're just I think we're gonna kind of wing it. How's that sound?
Yeah.
I mean, does that sound right, Michele?
Yeah. And it's really fun when Ken and I first started talking about this. Prince came through and was very present with me. And he wasn't somebody that I was particularly fond of. I mean, some of his music is amazing and I love it. But he wasn't somebody I was like, ooh, Prince. When he passed away, I was sad, because I do recognize him as a great talent and a very advanced being. And I was kind of like, what? Well, as we're talking, when I was talking before, I was talking about Jim Croce, and I'm like, and John Lennon came through, and others, but I can't remember their name. Well, when you started talking, Prince popped in, and he goes, what, you forgot me already? And then all of a sudden he starts singing, and I don't even remember what song it is, where it's, oh, no, let's go. And he's like dancing around. He wants to do this. So he's so excited to get to be a part of this, whatever it is. And that's what he's saying. He holds his hands up and he goes, whatever this is going to be, he's like, I am just happy to be here. And it's neat. It's like, I'll just finish real quick. I feel like, their presence here on Earth was so dynamic and such an important part of their spiritual growth and their spiritual advancement. I feel like they're excited to be able to get to touch Earth again, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I'm getting from doing this too. Yeah. So when this all started to open up for me, I was a real music snob. Have you ever seen the movie High Fidelity? John Cusack owns a record store. Yes.
And he and Jack Black and a couple of other people talk about how they're snobs because they think they know what good music is and that they know better than everyone else. And I totally identified with that. Absolutely felt that way. I knew what was good. I knew what was pop garbage, and I was elitist enough that if it was pop, which meant it was popular, that it was no good. If I liked a singer or a band before anybody else knew about them, that was cool. And then if they became popular, it was the old, oh, they sold out, whatever. Didn't like them anymore.
Yeah.
And there were so many other artists that I was just a snob about it, to the point where we could get in the car and turn the radio on, and my finger would hit the button for another station, the first note of a song by somebody I didn't like. And I was very surprised when some of those people that whose music I didn't particularly care for, started to show up. Yeah. And it absolutely changed everything for me. And it wasn't that I got caught and had to explain to Michael Jackson and tell him I'm sorry. I didn't really like the whole Thriller thing. I wasn't a fan. I'm sorry. It wasn't like that. It just, the music was became different because I don't know, because it's just part of who I am. Somebody explained to me that my life is like a coin, and family is one side and music is the other, and it just changed everything. And I couldn't figure out at first. Different, I would have thought that, well, if this is what's going to happen and famous dead singers and musicians are going to show up, it's going to be all my peeps. It's going to be all my favorites. And it didn't work that way at all. It didn't work that way at all. There were people, some would show up, and I knew of their music. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't a big fan. Some would show up that I didn't like at all. I feel like I was doing I was part of a group meditation, and John Denver showed up and said, "Oh, he doesn't like my music," and left. And I felt really bad. And I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of John Denver albums, and he wasn't one of my favorites. But it's different now. All the music is different now because so much has just opened up, and and it's been kind of amazing. And I wanted to say that because if you call in and somebody steps forward like Prince, and if you were not a big Prince fan, it's still okay. If somebody, think about it. If someone stepped forward, if we said a guide had stepped forward and his name was Anthony, and you didn't know who Anthony was, their message from across the veil would still matter to you. And it's not that what Prince has to say should matter more. It shouldn't be that because somebody famous says something to you that should carry more weight. It's just that's kind of a frame of reference that Michele and I have, because music is such a big thing to us that they're drawn to us and they want to help, and hopefully hopefully that will work okay. I hope I'm not over-explaining it.
That is exactly what was coming to me, is that they want to help. And it's not about who comes through. It's about the message that comes through from those on the other side that want to help, and there's a lot of them that do.
I feel like, and I don't feel like anybody in particular is making me say this. Well, nobody makes you do anything, but I feel like we've talked on this show about angels and how anybody can communicate with angels. And I feel like with these singers and these musicians, that if you love their work, they're grateful and they appreciate that. And you can connect with them. You can connect. You can learn to connect with anybody, but when you're thinking about someone, like we just passed the anniversary of I think it might be today, actually, the anniversary of David Bowie's death, which was a shock to a lot of people. Yeah, it was 2 years ago today.
Yeah, it was.
And I know people close to me who his music really touched, and who were just crushed when he passed, and they will go through times where they're listening to a lot of his music, and when you get in that state, and it's kind of a meditative state, it's just different, and because maybe you're not familiar with meditation, you don't realize it. But that opens you up too, and you're listening to some of his music, and you feel like he's there. It's because he is.
Yeah.
That's how it works, really. We want there to be some big recipe and lots of instructions and a whole bunch of steps, and not that complicated. And this isn't to say that you can go grab your Elvis records or your Elvis CDs or your Elvis playlist and sit down and get in a comfy spot, crank that sucker up, and he's going to come through and answer and solve all your problems. But that doesn't mean he won't.
Exactly. And today is the anniversary of his passing, and his birthday was January 8th. So his birthday was 2 days ago. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I always felt a little bit bad for David Bowie because his birthday is the same day as Elvis's birthday. And you can't help but get overshadowed, no matter how amazing you think Bowie was, or his music still is. It is hard to get out of that shadow of the king. And I thought him passing away 2 days later gave him his own day, although he does share that with Jim Croce. But I always thought that was interesting that his birthday was 2 days ago and he died today, and we're thinking about him. And and this goes true. This goes for your family and friends as well. They like being thought of. They like being remembered.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
There's value in certainly in listening to those old records, and maybe in some cases not so old, and expressing your gratitude and your love for whoever is singing or whoever's playing the guitar, the piano, the drums, whatever. There's value in that, just like going through an old scrapbook and looking at some of those pictures of great-grandparents or great-greats or whoever, and sending them love. It's a neat thing to do, and they do, and they love that. So.
They do. Because, they were such dynamic beings when they were here. I can imagine how, we go on, we continue on. And even though, we drop a lot of the human aspects of our beingness, but I can't imagine what it's like to be so dynamic, successful, influential, and then in passing, not having that anymore. And not in an egoic way. But, it takes great spiritual fortitude to reach those heights of success and influence. They weren't baby spirits when they came here and did what they did. They were, like, hugely advanced beings. And so it's kind of like coming in like a wrecking ball. Kazam! Change the world, and then poof, gone. It's like, not that way. Also, I want to say,
you can.
David Bowie, Elvis Presley were born on my aunt's birthday.
Huh.
So it's like they need to know who's boss here.
The other thing that I wanted to mention is that so many of these people that we've talked about, and others who will probably come through, what they did when they were alive made so many people happy, touched so many. And whatever you do, you don't know how many people you touch by the things that you do. It's like ripples in the water, that it goes out and it touches others and you don't know. It's much easier to be able to look at Prince and go, well, this album sold however many million copies. Everybody might not have been overjoyed at buying that record, but I bet a lot of people were.
Oh, yeah.
And it made a lot of people happy. And, Michael Jackson's music did, too. and Elvis and John Lennon and Jim Croce and Frank Sinatra and everybody that we have talked about tonight. It made a lot of folks. It made a lot of folks happy, and there's a lot of value in that. I know you could take any one of these people's lives and put it under a microscope and say, yeah, but they did this and they did that, and yeah, sure, yeah, maybe they did do. Maybe they were human and they made mistakes. And I don't want to be dismissive if they did something really bad. I'm not trying to dismiss it and say, yeah, but they made beautiful music, so it was okay. But this is what connects so many of us is the music, and it's just and I think that's part of all of this, that it's just so powerful that it does bring them back, and they're grateful that we still care about it, that we still listen to it. So there. So Michele, how do you see this working for the purpose of callers and such tonight?
Well, being how I am, I just believe in jumping in the deep end and hoping we all swim. I'm like, let's go.
All right. Well, in that case, 347-838-9903 is our number. And you can connect through the chat room or through social media too, but it'll be more fun if you're on the phone. So let's go ahead and grab a call and see what happens. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Hi, thanks so much for hanging on. What's your first name?
My name is Chrissy.
Hi,
Chrissy.
Hello.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Michigan.
Ooh, burr.
Yeah.
How can we help you tonight?
Well, I was watching a movie, and it really made me think of my dad that raised me. And I'm like, I have to call in and find a show, and just I haven't had a reading in a long time, and I've had a few people pass since my last reading, and I'm just open to whoever wants to come through, any songs, anything to help me tonight.
I'm actually pulling some cards from you. They're angel cards, because the Archangel Shamuel came through really, really quick for you. I just felt like this very loving, almost like pink energy come in around you. And it's interesting because I'm looking at this. This message is from your dad. And even though it's on an angel card, this is kind of the energy that your dad is bringing you is find your purpose. He's saying starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past will help set you forward and help get you moving forward. I feel like you're kind of in a little bit of a transition right now. Does that make sense?
I feel like I always am, like when something shifts, that it's my calling to, get on board.
Yeah, get up and get moving. I just feel like that there's, God, it's like I'm seeing almost like a clock, like tick, 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 and each second that goes by is helping you to line up more and more with what your soul purpose is. And your dad is coming through right now, and he's showing me, it's like he's moving his body, and he's kind of being a little bit silly. Did your dad have a sense of humor?
Yeah. Yeah, like my dad,
like
he was a dancer, and he'd move his body weird, like, yeah, that's my dad.
Because he's kicking his legs out in front of him and then kind of to the side, like he's doing a silly dance.
Yeah,
Okay?
that'd be him.
And he's talking about getting up and get moving. He's saying you do know what you need to do, and you do know what really makes you happy. But he's saying, but you're not moving towards that. And he says, you're trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat. He's showing me pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but you have to move. You have to take steps towards it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So he's like, start making moves towards it. He's saying it's not going to come get you, and he's saying it's not going to land on your doorstep and knock on the door. Also, is part of what this transition does have to do with relationship as well?
Yes.
Okay. Because he's basically saying Mr. Wonderful is not going to land on your doorstep and knock on your door. He's like, you have to get up, get pretty yourself. He's showing me put on makeup. He's showing me the cheeks. Put on your makeup and get out there. And he's saying, I'll help you too. He's saying, I will help you. And then I want to tell you that Prince is popping in. Now, again, Prince loves to talk to people. He loves to come through. He loves to talk to people. He is so funny. And he's saying, oh, my gosh, because Prince is a Gemini. No wonder he wants to talk all the time. Love him. He's coming through and he's saying, start listening to music that is about love, that's about relationship, that make you feel good. And he's saying, don't listen to the sad ones. He says, listen to the happy ones. Listen to the ones that lift you up.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I was listening to a CD. Her name is Crystal Bowersox, and she's known for being on American Idol, but, I mean, people don't follow her, but I did just because she's a true artist to me. And I was listening to her CD, her newest CD, and there's a song called Dead Weight, and it talks about dropping your dead weight. And all of a sudden, like, my whole body was consumed with, like, what I would, like, it felt like the Holy Spirit, you know, like from when I used to go to church and that.
Yeah,
but my whole body was
that feeling.
just, and the name of her CD is called Alive. And,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, how powerful is that, you know?
Yeah.
And just like what he said, you know, like the popularity of a artist didn't like it. Well, she is known for being on Idol, but a lot of people didn't follow her because she didn't win. Well, she's the winner in my book because she writes music that hits home. I mean, like, for my whole body to be, like, energy, it was amazing.
And Prince is standing with his hand over the top of your head. And he's saying, you got it. You got it. That's what I'm talking about. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. And your dad is standing really still and just clapping his hands. Like he's just clapping his hands like, you have the message. You have the message. It's listen to what makes your heart sing. Let your heart open up. You're not supposed to be alone at all. And then Prince is coming in. He's got his guitar, and he goes, listen for my songs. I will sing you a song. So his music is going to come through. You might be in a store. You might be at a restaurant, a bar, something. His music is going to come through. When his music comes through, pay attention to where you are, what you're doing, and who's around you.
I love it.
And then,
I love it.
Oh my gosh, I feel like crying. And then he holds his finger. He holds his hand up. He's got all the tips of his fingers together, and he blows on them towards you. This guy is awesome. This is Prince, and he blows on them towards you, and all these sparkles go all over you, all around you, over the top of your head, all into your energy field. And he says, that baby is magic.
Okay.
So he's
was
like,
Prince
he just
gay?
blew his magic on you.
Do you know if he was gay?
Bisexual.
Was he known?
You just said.
Okay. My daughter just came out to me that she's bisexual. So
Yeah.
that is who I see. That is my confirmation from him that I need to listen to her feelings. That
Can
it's
I
not
share
a
with
phase.
you a little something that I got from the angels about this?
Yeah.
These
absolutely.
kids that, and it even goes to the gay and lesbian community, but especially the bisexual ones, they're actually embodying oneness. They're not.
I know. I love it. I love it.
They're embodying oneness.
I love it, but I'm afraid of what she'll have to deal with. People, but there's always going to be a prejudice in the world.
You know what? She's a girl that's going to be
fear.
prejudiced. There's her sexuality is going to be prejudiced. She's white or black or Latino or whatever. There's going to be prejudice about something.
Right.
So don't worry about it.
But I feel good knowing that she feels one. That like that's my only wish as a parent is for her to feel confident and loved. But she needs to love herself, and that was my confirmation that yes, this is what she is.
Yep, and it's okay.
And
it's actually a higher spiritual state.
I love
higher
it.
State of spirituality. Eventually, we probably will all embody that in some way, shape, or form.
Because, in the end, it's love. Love is love.
Exactly.
Exactly. To say I love a man or a woman more, no, you just love, and that's what we were brought to this world to do, is love.
Yep, exactly. So how could that be wrong? Or any aspect thereof be wrong?
Yes.
It's only because there's a belief system / brainwashing in place that somehow her sexual orientation is wrong. How could it be wrong? It's love.
I think that we've come far, but I know that we need to come farther. But
you don't have, you or she does not have to answer to the world. You don't have to answer to the world. You be who you are, and that's what she needs to know. She doesn't have to answer to the world. It's nobody's business what she does in the bedroom.
But how amazing, you just say these few words, and then I can relate to exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Like the glitter, all that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my girl. That's my baby.
Yep. That's the
amazing.
Magic, baby. That's
your
message.
The magic. and she is my miracle child. Like I was told that I couldn't have kids, and she was my miracle child that I've been blessed to be her mother.
Very cool. And then let's ask Ken Kessler, who actually is a part of the show at times. Do you have anything to add?
I do have a couple of things to add. First, it's Chrissy, right?
Yes.
Yes, Chrissy. Do you know Crystal Bowersock's song from her Christmas song from a couple of years ago?
I don't believe that I know that. No.
It's very interesting that you brought her up because there's a couple guys here who said, tell her about that song. She did a Christmas song, I think it was 2 years ago, could have been 3, and it's called Coming Out for Christmas.
No way.
And, yes way.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. This is so cool.
They said, tell her about that song. So, well, later on tonight when you get a chance, go track that down.
I am.
The two guys are here. One is named Rod. He's from an English band that was called The Fortunes, and he's saying, don't fall into the trap where you start to feel sorry for yourself, and you get stuck there. They did a song called "You've Got Your Troubles, I've Got Mine," and he says just to remember that whatever you're going through, you're not alone. That everybody has different junk that they're going through, so you don't need to feel like the universe is dumping on you. You don't need to feel like you're getting singled out or like nothing is working and nothing ever works for you, and the world is so unfair. It's not. Excuse me, it's not unfair, but it happens to everybody. And that doesn't solve your problems, but it should help a little to know that you're not alone, you're not the only one. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Like what she was talking about, like relationship is about 3 years ago when my father passed, my mom just cut us off. Like she cut off the kids, his sisters and brothers, and she just cut everybody off. And it's sad because, she, I'm sure, is grieving herself, and you think that she would want people around her. But, I'm always going to need my mom, and it hurts knowing that she's not, available. And, so many times, she was a very abusive while I was growing up, physically and emotionally. But I've always looked at, that's my mom and I love her. It's all I knew.
Right.
So it just hurts. So I keep, as an adult, like that's a lot stronger, as for all of my issues that I had when I was younger, with her treating me like that. I needed other people, this has happened to them too. Get over it, be strong, but I still stumble.
Sure you do.
We all do.
Mother is life, is life. It's mother as a baby.
And she has to be hurting too. Like, she has to want her family. I mean, family is, what keeps me going, and it's sad that she's done this to herself. She's cut people off.
And that's her pain. That's her pain. Yeah. Well, bless your heart.
And unfortunately, there isn't really anything that you can do about that, because that's something that she has to deal with. But you can take care of you.
And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying
and that's what we're all trying to do. Yeah. And it's a day-to-day kind of thing. There's no finish line. There's no touchdown dance. It's just, you got to get up every day, and every day is every day is a chance to do it right today. You don't have to carry baggage from yesterday into the next day. Every day is a chance. Every day is a do-over. Every day is a chance to do better than you did yesterday, and that's okay. And you don't have to wake up and feel like, oh, yesterday I'm still so. No, it was yesterday. That's done. It's over. Didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. That's a shame. But today is a better day. Today's gonna be a better day. And just try and every day is not going to work quite like that. Every day is going to be, hey, but as you start to do, if you start to try and think that way and feel that way when you get up every day, some of those days are going to be, and the more you do that, the more of those days you'll have. Excuse me. The other guy that's here is Carl Wilson, who was in the Beach Boys, and I know it's him because of the beard. And he wants to know if you're meditating.
I meditate my way. I feel like I get into a state that I'm relaxed. Mainly, I meditate to help with anxiety. So, when I'm, highly stressed and have a lot of anxiety, I, turn on, a guided meditation, and I just, and a lot of times I fall asleep, but it calms me down. So in my mind, I'm calming myself down with this meditation. So that's my way of meditating.
That's fine. There's no. Some people will tell you that there's a right way and a wrong way, but you got to figure out what works for you. So yeah,
and it definitely
that's fine.
helps with the anxiety. Yes.
He's singing
I don't
do
it as much.
He's singing the good vibration song and sending you good vibrations and suggesting that the more you remember to do that, the better you will raise your vibration and the better you will feel. So tuck that away and try to remember that. I know that I'm a big believer in meditation, and I'm also be one of the first people to tell you that I don't do it every day, and I should. And I make excuses, and I get busy, and I don't. But I'm human, and nobody is keeping score, and nobody's keeping score on you if you don't do it every day. Carl Wilson's not going to come and haunt your house. So, yeah.
I have a question. Do you use headphones when you meditate?
Yes. Oh,
I do.
Meditate?
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
And one other thing, are you the voice for Curious Times?
I don't even know what that is, so no, I'm not.
Oh my goodness, your voice just sounds so familiar. It's crazy.
How funny.
Now that I'm
He's
hearing
got
your
a cool voice, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you. Have you lived in Michigan most of your life?
I have, yes.
Oh, okay. I was on the radio in Cincinnati. That's about as close to Michigan as I got. So, if you were in Cincinnati, you might have heard me, but no.
So you probably knew Crystal before American Idol.
No, I didn't. I was in Cincinnati 20 years ago.
So you're a little bit older than me. Okay. What? Sorry. No. No, you're just a little bit older.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always laugh at myself.
You don't sound it.
Well, thank you.
No, he doesn't at all, does he?
No. No.
Ken's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
You both are awesome. It's like when I had that issue, or like when I had that not an issue, but I had that feeling in my car today listening to that song, and then I watched this movie that just reminded me of my dad, and I'm like, I'm going to call a show, and I get through right away, and and everything hits home, and it is well with my soul,
So
good.
cool.
You just have to, yeah.
Very cool. We're so glad you called in.
Chrissy, you want to know a
What's
secret?
that? Absolutely.
You're awesome. You're awesome too.
Yeah.
Aww.
Takes one to know one.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are so cool. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Have a great evening, hon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
347-838-9903 is the number. I'm getting very self-conscious about my voice now. Hi. Thanks for hanging on. What's your first name?
Hello?
Hi.
What's your first name?
Oh, wow.
Hello.
I'm so happy. This is Yasmin. How are you?
Good, Jasmine. Where are you calling from?
Vegas right now.
Ooh. And what is your question for us?
I just tuned in. Is there any kind of specific type of question you're looking for, or is it any area of life?
Whatever question you have,
what is it you want to know?
what we can do to help you with it. Yeah.
My two areas, as usual, are like love and career that I'm interested in finding out about. So whichever one comes up for you, I appreciate insight.
I'm pulling some cards for you. Kind of interesting. I don't always use cards, but for some reason I'm using them tonight, and then other stuff has come through. The very first card that I pulled up for you is the current situation is not serving you. Are you in a relationship right now?
No, I like someone, but we're not in a relationship.
Okay, so but you got a little something going on with somebody. Probably not the right person for you. I'm getting the situation is not serving you to release your attachment to the outcome. Just kind of let go, let yourself not let go like I'm done with you, goodbye, but kind of back off of the situation because somebody else is going to be coming in for you. Somebody that's going to suit you a lot better. This other person that you like right now, he likes you, but there's not like a big connection. There's maybe a chemical connection, but there's not like a soul-heart connection really. And maybe an intellectual connection, like you guys, there's an intellectual connection, but there's not that whole everything connection. If you kind of let go, just let it kind of be and not put too much importance on that person, somebody else is going to come in for you. And I want to tell you within the next 4 weeks or so, not in 4 weeks, but within the next 4 weeks. And once this person comes in, it's almost like a lot of different things are going to start falling in place for you too. The angels are asking you to stand in integrity. They're saying be true to you, be honest, don't accept anything less than what is best for you, and really stand on your own 2 feet, and everything will fall into place. And they're kind of like saying what you're going through right now. It's like make a decision and start moving forward. Whatever you're doing right now is kind of holding you back, and this is in the relationship realm. And it's like your dreams can come true if you just believe in yourself. Okay? So whatever's going on, somebody is coming in for you.
Okay.
Ken, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. Elmore James is here, and he had a song called "I Believe," which is why I said "wow" when Michele was saying what she was saying. You've got to believe in love before you can be free. Everybody make a friend. I want you to believe in love like I believe. It's obviously it's a song about love. It's a song about loving yourself and knowing that you matter and you deserve to be treated well and you deserve to be happy and you deserve love. And it's also a song about getting back what you give. So when you love yourself and when you're ready to give love, you get it back. If you are hard on yourself, if you're critical on yourself, if you aren't open to allow that to come in, you're going to get back whatever it is that you put out there. So the thing is, what he's saying is that you need to take some time and focus on you and what makes you happy. What is it that you want? Figure those things out. This is not about being selfish. This is about loving yourself so that you have love to offer to someone else. And if Michele's right, you've got it sometime in the next 4 weeks. You got to get on it and accept it and allow it and be ready to go and know that you're awesome and you deserve to be happy and you deserve love and you have so much to give.
Yeah. And don't try to fit what they want. Let them be what you want. Does that make sense?
Right.
I don't know. I'm taking it all in.
Oh, say that again, hon.
I don't know. I'm taking it all in.
Okay, good.
Okay.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? You're saying don't try to be who they want me to be? I'm always myself. I'm not trying to be anybody but myself.
We're not saying that.
Is that what you meant? Mm-hmm.
What we're saying is being true to yourself and what is best for you always.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
All right.
always a test to figure out what's best for me. It's interesting because I taught this show, like, I don't know, about a month and a half ago, and the reading on the same guy that you mentioned was good. So it's interesting. I feel there's a connection, but, you know, you never know what's going to turn out. I am single, so I'm open to whoever good comes into my life and is ready to be in the way that I want to be. And be aligned with me.
Great.
Well, good luck with that. Let us know when it goes down.
Thank you. I have a question. So that's why I'm a little confused, Ken. Do vibrations change like that? Like that in the past it was a positive reading on the show and then it will change? Is that, I don't know. I'm still getting used to this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Everything is fluid. When you get a reading from anyone, that's the outlook based on where you are and where everything else is that day. You get another reading a week, a month, 2-3 months later, it's possible lots of things could change.
Okay. So, yeah, that's why I was confused. But thank you for clarifying, and thank you for taking my call.
You're very welcome. Have a great evening, and thank you for calling us.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. 347-838-9903 is our number. And all the phone lines are open because I think everybody just dropped. So I don't know if Blog Talk Radio is having a Blog Talk Radio moment or
if everybody said yikes. Very cool.
And it
very,
is
very cool.
It is funny that all the calls dropped because I'm getting this from Glenn Miller in the song. It must be jelly because jam don't shake like that. So I wasn't sure how that would if that resonates with you, that's for you. But I wasn't sure. Glenn Miller has, it's funny. We've been talking about all these recently departed celebrities, and then to have Glenn Miller has been hanging around quite a bit tonight, and it's just funny that particular song.
And you know what? I have a feeling that song is for somebody who's going to listen later, who's going to be listening from the archives.
Yeah, that's how it works. And I should, I'm glad you said that, Michele, because a lot of times when people do listen to a podcast later on, and they hear a message or a song or something that sounds like, wow, that could be for me. You know what? It is for you. That's how it works sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just how it works. So the songs and the messages aren't just for whoever's calling, because like I was telling, I think it was Chrissy, that everybody's going through stuff. And it's easy to feel like you're being singled out when it feels like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing is happening, and nothing is going the way you want it to. And it's easy to feel like everybody must have it easier than I do. It's easy to feel that way. It's easy to fall into that trap. But we're all going through things, and no matter how unique you think your problems are, somebody else is dealing with them. And I've heard people say that before, and I thought, oh yeah, right. Okay, well, who else has a whole bunch of dead singers and musicians and rock stars showing up talking to them? And not only does that happen to Michele, but I've had people who have called into this show who talk about that, oh my gosh, I didn't know that happened to anybody else. So whatever it is you're going through, you're not alone. And if you hear something a song that we mention or a message, and it resonates with you, it's for you too.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely. You know what? I've done readings for people, and as I'm talking, it's resonating with me for me sometimes. So that happens from time to time too. So it's like, oh shoot, I need to listen to that.
It's very. I was going to say it's very funny that you said that, but I guess it's rather it's kind of a synchronicity, shall we say, that you said that, because I do this thing that I call the 11:11 songs. At 11:11 in the morning and at 11:11 in the evening, I post 11 songs that I'm guided to share that I think will have messages for you. It could be comfort, it could be nostalgia. All of those things are nice. And if you hear a song and it makes you smile and it lifts your heart for a little bit, well, that's cool, and that's good. It doesn't mean that these songs have all the answers, but I put those together every day, and so often I'm like, when the song comes up to me, I'm like, oh gosh, that could be a message for me, and so could that one, and so could that one, and so could that one. And it's just funny. I'm just looking at the latest, the ones from that got posted this morning, and I'm like, really, these could be for me. Mariah Carey, Someday, no kidding. Adele, Hello.
Oh, I love that song.
Yes. Hello from the Other Side. Yeah.
Hello.
No Big Maceo Merriweather, who's an old Chicago blues guy who has been coming through a couple times lately. Worried Life Blues. Really, who isn't dealing with that? Who isn't worried?
Yeah.
Doesn't help any. Doesn't help any, but it doesn't make me stop. The Kinks, Tired of Waiting. No kidding. I'll be glad to have some patience if I could have it right now. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, those are just a handful. But I post those every day on the website at psychictapestry.com and also on the Facebook page. And I'm just looking at these. I'm like, yeah, that's for me. That's for me. Oh, that's for me. That's for me. So,
I love it.
I'm gonna share them anyway. But I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna know those are all for Ken. But
yeah, it's funny. We're all connected, aren't we?
Yeah, we sure are. And music is so can be so personal that I think that's one of the really great things about it, because I can look at all these songs and I mean, Hello from the Other Side, Adele. Okay, that's pretty darn obvious. But that song could mean something else to someone else. When just thinking about Adele or the song Hello could be the trigger that gets you a message, makes you think of somebody, and that's just how it works. Just because I post these 11 songs, and it's not because all 11 are a secret message for one person, or that there is one common theme, or that it's 11 messages that are the same. It doesn't work like that. If I get the song Hello from Adele, it makes me think that somebody is trying to connect with me, because it's hello from the other side. That's what it means to me. It probably doesn't mean that to people who aren't in this business. Pretty sure that's not what it means to them. But that's just what it means to me. So.
Yeah, and that's what it means to me too. That's why I love that song.
Yeah, that was when I heard it the first time. I had to wait a minute. What did she just say? what did she just say? Because that can't be for public consumption. That's got to be something specific to people who talk to angels and dead people. It's not just for everybody. Hello from the other side, really? But yeah, but that's what it meant to me. And it always cracks me up when that song comes up on the 11:11 songs.
So cool. I love those 11:11 songs too.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoy them. Cool.
Well, Michele, since there may or may not be a phone issue, or people are scared of us and don't want to call in, I should mention that when you go to psychictapestry.com and you click on Get a Reading, you can connect to Michele and go to her website, or you could just go to micheleamburgey.com and cut out the middleman. It's Michele with one L, AMBURGEY.com. And I didn't tell you in advance I was going to ask you this, but you're psychic, you should know. What all have you got coming up that everybody needs to know about?
Well, you know what? I've got a few things coming up. I still have a couple things kind of up in the air as far as dates go. Got some wonderful classes that are called Turning Up the Megahertz. And they're here in the Laguna Hills, Laguna Niguel area at a wonderful store called Awakenings. And what we're doing is we're working with plant essences, and then we're working with crystal healing and with the selenite swords. And we're doing some really deep healing, bringing emotions up. With the selenite swords that I use are these amazing swords that are activated to like 11th dimension consciousness, and it's got crystals and symbols and all kinds of stuff in these swords, along with a massive piece of selenite. And what I do is chakra healing, but we use the plant essences as well to really get into the chakras, into the energy fields. And then with the crystals, we bring this stuff up for healing, along with the blessing of the angels and masters and benevolent ancestors and all of the great ones. We invite everybody. And so it's a really powerful healing. And then also with the swords, I do a light body activation. So what it does is we cleanse you, we clear you, we lift your vibration, and then we activate your energy body so that it stays that way, so that you keep that wonderful feeling. Because a lot of times you go to these great classes and events and workshops and stuff, and then 3 days later it's like you're back to normal. Well, this helps to keep you there and helps to keep you at that state. And we do them every couple of months, about every 2 months, so that people are starting to come back every time and just getting higher, opens consciousness. It's, our goal is to create awakening and enlightenment on a global level, and even more than that on a cosmic level. And so it's some really wonderful stuff that's happening. And then I have a couple other classes that are similar to that. And then the last Friday of every month in Costa Mesa, I have a spirit circle with two of my medium buddies. One of them was a student of mine, another one a really good friend of mine that we sat in circle together. And we have spirit circles. And it's from 7 to 9 p.m. in Costa Mesa at a place called, or what used to be called Visions and Dreams, and actually Awakenings recently purchased them. So we've got the Awakenings thing covered. So it's kind of fun. So you can find me basically every couple of weeks somewhere here in the Orange County area. And another thing that's kind of fun, Ken, I have to share this. I accidentally am becoming an astrologer.
Uh-oh.
I signed up for a class that was about Saturn, because right now we've got Saturn is in Capricorn, which is like a really massive consciousness change for humanity. And it's an opportunity to really let the past go, let the crap go, and step into your authority, step into your position in this world, step into your soul work, step into, your soul potential. And it's really powerful time on our planet. And so I took a class, an astrology class about that. I thought it'd be interesting. And it's ended up being this big, long course. And then within the course, they're offering all these other free courses about astrology. And all of a sudden, I'm dreaming stars and planets. I'm having all this crazy stuff going on. So I've accidentally stepped into the world of astrology, and it's absolutely fascinating. It's really cool. I had no idea.
There are no accidents.
That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's so funny.
I had Deidre Raven on a couple of years ago. She's an astrologer here in San Diego, and maybe more than 2 years ago. Might have been 3. Doesn't really matter, really. But I had to confess to her as we were starting that my knowledge of astrology was pretty much confined to that little part of the newspaper on the comics page where it gave you 2 sentences about how blue is your color, stay inside today. That was about it. That's really all I knew. And I was just blown away by how much there is, how complicated it is, and how much it makes sense. I mean, I'm a Virgo, so all the charts and graphs, I was like, oh my God, look at all of that. All of this
like,
woohoo! Yes, I could quantify and qualify and figure out everything. And but there is so much, and it's right. Because I was always my opinion of astrology was, well, that just seems nuts that you find out what day I was born and that could tell you anything. How ridiculous! And then I not only did everything she had to say about me was it right, and it was, but one of the points that she made is that we accept that the moon affects the oceans. We absolutely accept that scientific fact. The moon affects the tides. It makes the waters change. Well, guess what, genius? Your body is mostly made up of water. What do you think the moon is doing to you?
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, you win. That's right. Hard to refute that.
Yep.
We are mostly water. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fascinating, different planets that are next to each other and the houses, and I'm just like going, whoa. It's like my mind is like, I feel like it's jelly or jello that's like wiggling, like blah, blah, blah. It's super cool, though.
Yes, there is, to quote Buddy Holly, there is so much to learn.
There's so much to learn. So much to learn. And it's so fun. Yeah. And as Virgos, as you well know, we love to learn.
Oh,
we love to learn.
I get to get a new legal pad and a new pen, and let's go. Start teaching me stuff. I'm going to make notes, and then I'm going to... teach me stuff. They need to be learning things.
And then you're going to organize them and color code them and...
You know it.
Alphabetize. Yeah. I love it.
All of that. I was going to... I'll go ahead and ask anyway. We've only got about 5 minutes left, but do you have a final message for anybody who couldn't call in or might be listening to the podcast later?
Yeah. Prince is still here with us. And he's saying that this is so much fun for him that he's kind of standing behind me and I can feel him behind me, but I can see him in front of me. It's kind of a weird dynamic here. And it's like he's almost like he's standing in front of a huge crowd, and you know how he used to, like, put his hands up in the air, like, to get people going? You know, like he would do that, and he had those big floppy, and he's doing that, like, come on, everybody, get involved, come on. We're here, let's do this. He is so excited that you and I have decided we're going to open up this door to this magical realm of what we kind of teasingly call the guys upstairs. And he is so excited. He's just like, come on, let's do this, come on. And he's got his guitar, and he's got his big floppy sleeves and his purple velvet, and he is like, let's do this. And it's really exciting. I just feel his excitement. And I feel his excitement so much I almost want to cry, because I feel a little bit like he's not only doing that for us here on this plane, but he's doing it for everybody there too. Almost like he's saying, hey, come on, we're doing this. Everybody get on board, you know, whoever wants to do this. And it's really neat because the Beach Boys guy, I always forget his name. Carl Wilson. Carl, yeah. I have, as my alarm on my phone in the morning, I have Good Vibrations. That's the song I wake up to every single morning. Just love him because he is such a delicate, sweet soul, and yet just brilliant off the charts. And, you know, in the human realm, he was kind of an odd duck, but he's so amazing. And that's the energy and the consciousness that I wake up to every single morning is good vibrations, you know? And it's so fun having him come in today, too. I wanted to add that in there because I didn't think about it, but the second you said his name, it was like, oh, my gosh, of course, because that's how I start every single day.
Cool.
So, yay.
Well, I just want to add real quick before we completely run out of time. Last word comes from Harry Nilsson, a George Harrison love song called That Is All. And it's a great love song. That is all I want to say. Our love could save the day. That is all I'm waiting for, to try to love you more. Great thought to hang on to. And also it is the end of the show, so that really is all. So touche.
So peace, love, and rock and roll.
Yeah, Harry was very funny, and he still is, and I think that is all. I mean, love is important in everything, but I think for the final message, for it to be that is all, that's kind of funny, because it is. But thanks to those who called in and who popped into the chat room. We do really appreciate you. Thanks to everybody for listening. Apologies to those that got dropped if Blog Talk Radio dropped you. We're sorry about that. We didn't do it. And hopefully you can catch us next time. We will be back here. I think this is going to be our regular time. Does that sound good to you?
What time do we do this? At 5:30?
Yeah, 5:30 Pacific. Okay. So we're going to give that a shot, and we're going to have this at the same time and channel. So hopefully you'll be able to join us next week. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper? A woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver. I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.